guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance, and today you can tell we're going to be talking about an important subject when you see me wearing this fedora. We're going to be talking about CleanSpark today because how could we not talk about him? Now, I can already see the comments coming.
Hell, I can't take this guy seriously when he's wearing a fedora.
Yada, yada, yada. But you guys don't understand. This fedora's been with me. I'm 19 years old here. This fedora's been with me through thick and thin when I had $3,000 invested, and now I've grown that to almost $45,000 at the age of 19. So I take this fedora with me whenever I'm doing something important on my channel, like a video on CleanSpark, which is what we're doing today. So if you're watching this video, you probably know last Friday I posted a video with the former CEO and current chairman of CleanSpark. His name is Matthew Schultz. That interview went amazing. I received incredible feedback on that video. Lots of people saying you should continue to do interviews on your channel because not a whole lot of YouTubers have done that. You might have been the first, Rex. And I hear you guys. I'm not planning on that interview being the last one I do on this channel. It was my first one. It was very successful, and the viewers really liked it. So stay tuned for more interviews in the future. I anticipate having Matt back on the channel at some point. I'm going to try and get some people from Workhorse on the channel. You name it, I'm going to bring it to RexFinance. But can we just take a moment? Can we just take a moment, all right? We get like 328 likes, something like that, on this video. Over 300 likes on this interview video, and that number keeps climbing and climbing. And then I look over at the dislike column, and I see one dislike. And all I have to say is somebody doesn't like to make money. So I want to see, it's a lofty goal, alright? 328 likes on that previous video with the interview. Can we get up to 300 likes this video? That's the goal, so hit that like button. In addition to that, I have officially become the only finance YouTuber that has caused a stock to be halted on the public exchanges. Not even Jeremy from Financial Education. I mean, that guy probably has the most pull out of any financial YouTuber, has caused a stock to halt trading within a day. Now, I knew that there was going to be a lot of buying pressure on money just from the reactions I got from that interview, but I didn't think it would come to that, where they had to halt the stock from trading for a few minutes. That's ridiculous, and I really appreciate you guys watching that interview video and sharing it with your friends and family. So do the same thing for this video, because if this video gets a lot of views and likes, more and more people are going to be invested in CleanSpark, which is going to make us more and more money. You see how that works? Now, yes, technically there also was a Seeking Alpha article that came out on Friday that probably attributed to some of the buying pressure as well. But I think it's a safe bet to say that my interview with Matthew Schultz was the main pull today in the market. It's so weird. As a 19-year-old, I have a pull in a stock price on the NASDAQ exchange. That's crazy, and I can't thank you guys enough. That Seeking Alpha article was actually posted 24 minutes before the closing bell on Friday, and all of after hours trading had time to digest that article. So I really think that most of the uptick today was a result of the interview with Matthew Schultz. And thank you again to Matt. If you're watching this video, thank you so much for coming on the channel. A lot of people love that. I enjoyed your company, and I look forward to having you back on the channel in the future. Speaking of goals, I set a goal last Friday to hit 8,000 subscribers by the end of this current week. So this Friday, my goal is to hit 8,000 subscribers. We're roughly 400 subscribers off that goal, so I think we're going to meet that goal easily. But if you guys are new or returning and not yet subscribed, if that subscribe button is still red and not grayed out, you're doing it wrong, and change that. In addition to that, I recently launched Rex Nation, or channel memberships on this channel. For $5 a month, you get automatic buy and sell alerts when I buy or sell a stock. You get access to the private members-only Discord, and you get access to the private members-only live streams every Saturday. We have a great group of guys and girls already in this Discord, already part of Rex Nation. I think we're up to like 40 members, which is crazy. So if you guys are interested in that, hit the join button down below for more information. But holy cow, I've been rambling for like 5 minutes. Let's get into the content. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about why CleanSpark is such a great investment. So, there are certain things that I have found, if you want quick, immediate gains and gains in the future, that you have to do. One of them is find an emerging industry. You have to invest alongside whatever's emerging, whatever's popular at the time. Right now, that is EV companies and clean energy companies. For example, I invested in Workhorse Group at $2.84. Today, it's over $15 a share. I bought into CleanSpark, which could be considered a clean energy company or a renewable energy company, at $4.63. And today, we're over $12 a share. So I've had major success 2 times in a row. So how have I done it? My mindset is to invest for the long term. And if I get short-term gains, I'll take it, right? And if I don't get the short-term gains and I have to hold the stock for months, that was my plan anyways. So that's the first step. You have to find the emerging industry or what industry is popular currently, and that happens to be electric vehicle stocks or clean energy / renewable energy companies. CleanSpark is not only a part of that emerging industry, but they are disruptive and they're forming a monopoly in a certain niche of that industry. CleanSpark focuses on microgrids. Microgrids are different from the traditional grid, but to understand what a microgrid is, you have to first understand what the grid is. The best way to explain a grid is basically all of the power lines, the power poles you see that are connected from coast to coast in the United States. That is the power grid. There's been research done that states that if there was a coordinated attack on 9 critical intersection points of the traditional grid, it would leave parts of the United States of America without power for over a year. That's just one problem that CleanSpark and microgrids aim to fix. So microgrids can be connected to the traditional grid, or they can operate on their own in island mode. Island mode is very powerful technology because it can bring power to secluded places or places where the grid doesn't reach. And if, for example, a power pole gets burnt down or a hurricane throws down a bunch of power poles, you're not going to lose power because with a microgrid, you can generate that power using solar, wind, traditional power farming. You can power a microgrid with any sort of power, although the focus is on renewables, but that's not the point. Because you're constantly creating power with a microgrid, you can store any power that you don't use in the batteries that are part of the microgrid that you can store to use on peak hours, or, for example, if you have power poles that go down that leave you without power. Now, there are a lot more complexities that have to go along with microgrids and CleanSpark especially, so if you guys want to look more into the company, I encourage you to go to their investor relations page, as well as watch my first video I did on the company right here that'll give you a lot more information. I'll leave a card up there and a link down in the description. So the possibilities for microgrids are really endless because who doesn't want uninterrupted power or cheaper energy consumption because they can focus when they're using energy and how they're using energy and where they're getting that energy from using a microgrid. Who doesn't want that? Microgrids are used all the way from military bases to US embassies to just the average Joe at home that puts solar panels up on his roof and wants uninterrupted power all of the time. In addition to that, microgrids have a lot of potential in the electric vehicle sector if electric vehicles pan out and there's a massive demand for electric vehicle charging stations. It is very plausible that a microgrid will be used to power these charging stations because if you're getting your power from burning coal, that kind of mitigates what you're trying to fix by driving an electric vehicle. So more than likely, electric vehicle companies and consumers are going to want clean energy creating the power that is needed to charge their vehicle. That's where a microgrid can come in. So if you believe that one day there's going to be nothing but electrically powered vehicles on the roads, microgrids have massive potential in that industry. Another reason CleanSpark is a very enticing investment, even after it has risen up to these prices in a very, very short amount of time, is because of the industry growth surrounding microgrids, along with the expansion and growth and projections of the company. Recently, CleanSpark released the partnership program, which aims to bring their services, their software, their hardware to overseas countries. Lots of these overseas countries have secluded areas that can't get powered up from the traditional grid because they're secluded. Again, that's where microgrids can come in handy. They can bring power to these places that otherwise wouldn't be able to get power. In addition, lots of these overseas countries are focused on renewables and finding cheaper energy consumption and production. So in that interview with Matthew Schultz, he said CleanSpark has their eyes on all of these other countries. They're already working on partnerships in Brazil, for example, and they have their eyes on Australia. There are so many countries in the world that are demanding this type of technology, and CleanSpark is very honestly creating a monopoly in the space. There isn't hardly any other company that's taking them on, which is another reason this is a very enticing investment. If we look at CleanSpark's investor relations presentation, we can see that they expect their revenue to double in 2021 from where it's at currently, and then double again from the 2021 revenue numbers in 2022. So within just under 2 years, they're expecting $40 million in revenue annually. That is ridiculous. And the reason why this is even more insane is because on that interview again, Matthew Schultz says their projections, what they're projecting is very conservative because they like to set the bar low so that they can aim high and beat those numbers, because it's a lot better than aiming high and not meeting those numbers and disappointing shareholders. The microgrid sector is a very, very underpenetrated market, and it's set to see massive growth. For example, by 2029, the microgrid industry itself, software aside, is set to be a $40 billion industry. That's 9 years from now. That is not a very long time. A $40 billion industry, and CleanSpark is taking this industry head on. They don't have a whole lot of competitors out there, especially when it comes to their software they use. Most microgrid companies force their customers to tear down whatever sources of energy they're using currently, and they force them to put up new energy sources. CleanSpark is different. They take the solar panels that are already installed, they take the wind towers that are already installed, and they plug it directly into their hardware using their software. CleanSpark has 90% margin on their software, and the software is where they're primarily focused going forward. Now, I actually just emailed Matt right before I hit the record button on this video. Matthew is awesome. He always gets back to me right away, so again, a shout out to Matthew Schultz. He emailed me. I had a question regarding the profitability of the company. I wasn't sure because when you look at the investor presentation, they say by 2021. That's when they'll finally be profitable with their $8 million. However, I thought I remembered him saying by at the end of 2020, they would be profitable. And in that email, he clarified that by the end of the 2020 calendar year, they're going to be a profitable company, which is big because they're still only valued at like $180 million. So another thing I really, really like about CleanSpark is they care about their investors. I just got done talking about how Matthew Schultz, the current chairman of the board of directors and former CEO, almost emails all of my inquiries to investor relations. He emails me back almost immediately every time. CleanSpark used to outsource their investor relations, but that's not the image they want to portray. That's not how they think they can get investors on board. In addition to that, CleanSpark is really focused on the investors like you and me because they don't have any hedge funds. They don't have any institutional investors backing them. They didn't want to go that route. In addition to that, CleanSpark's board of directors and management team is heavily invested in the company. Lots of people that run CleanSpark have a lot of their salary in stock-based compensation. All that matters is that you know that stock-based compensation means if the stock price is doing well, the leaders of the company are going to do well and have a higher salary for the year. So, if the company's doing poorly, if the stock price is doing poorly, so are the leaders of the company's portfolios and net worths, and they're going to do everything in their power to change that. In addition to that, CleanSpark has said they will only do a public offering if the money raised increases the stockholders' equity beyond what it was before the public offering. So really, if they do a public offering, the share price is not going to hurt. Also, another tidbit I liked in that interview that I did with Matthew is that he said none of his team members would vote to sell the company out at any time, anywhere near where they're valued at today. I love that. I'm not investing in CleanSpark to get bought out. I'm investing in CleanSpark because I believe on their path. I believe in their journey. And I want to be invested in CleanSpark for years to come. Also, CleanSpark tends to release news 1 to 2 times a week. And what that does is it really keeps investors on their toes. It keeps money managers, market makers on their toes. Market makers play both sides, the ups and downs of the stock price, and they can really control and dictate where a stock price goes. But by releasing news randomly in 1 to 2 times a week, they deter those market makers, because why would a market maker want to mess with a company that's releasing news all of the time, causing the share price to explode? So my recommendation for everybody, hold your shares, buy more shares anytime over the next 12 months unless something material changes with the company. Lots of people try and time the market versus spending time in the market. Lots of people that try and time the market regret trying to time the market. The market in this example is CleanSpark, because they either sell too low or they buy too high and then they sell all of their shares because the stock price isn't going anywhere, and as soon as they sell, the share price explodes. That's why I invest in the long term with hopes for short-term gains. Trying to time the market is just so stressful. And you can make so much more money if you don't worry about the ups and downs of a daily stock price's movements. So yes, I will be holding or buying shares for the next 12 months unless something material changes with CleanSpark. At the end of those 12 months, so a year from now, I will reevaluate where the company's at. If I want to stay invested, I'll stay invested. If I want to double my position, I'll double my position. If I want to sell my position, I'll sell my position. But I'm not going to worry about that for another year. I'm not going to try and time the ups and downs of CleanSpark because I know over time CleanSpark is going somewhere. It's going to go in an upwards trajectory. So in closing, that's all I had for you guys today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content on CleanSpark. And with that, guys, have a great rest of your day and have a great Tuesday. I'll be back on Wednesday with a brand new video. Peace out.